Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dig into something really interesting, a simple way to understand how we all respond to the world around us. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll see yourself and maybe your potential in a whole new light.
All right, let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it. When life throws something at you, a big change, a new opportunity, even a sudden problem, what's your gut reaction? What do you do?
Believe it or not, your answer probably puts you into one of four different groups of people. Now, hang on. This isn't about putting labels on people. Think of it more like a roadmap, a way to see where you are so you can figure out where you want to go.
So let's look at these four types. It's kind of like a spectrum of action. On one end, you've got total passivity, and on the other, well, that's where the magic happens. We're going to start at the bottom and climb our way to the top. Okay, let's start at the far, far end of that spectrum. This is ground zero for passivity. This is the group of people who, after the dust settles, just kind of look around and wonder what in the world just happened. The big idea here? Disconnection. These folks just aren't plugged into what's going on. Like when a huge change is happening in their field, they're the absolute last ones to find out. They miss all the warning signs, they ignore the writing on the wall, and then, bam, they're totally blindsided by something everyone else saw coming from a mile off. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up, right? That confusion isn't random. It comes from being unprepared, because at the end of the day, they just weren't paying attention. All right, let's take one step up the ladder. From wondering, we move to watching. These are the spectators. They're definitely more aware than the first group, for sure. They're in the stadium, they see the game, but they're staying in their seats. These are the people in the audience of life. They see everything happening. And they'll have plenty to say about it. They're the armchair quarterbacks, right? They'll criticize the players, they'll comment on the strategy, but they have zero intention of ever getting on the field themselves. Think about that coworker who has a brilliant takedown of a new company policy, but would never, ever dream of helping to write a better one. All talk, no action. Their whole motto is just wait and see. They want to know how it all shakes out before making a move. Sure, it's safe, it's low risk, but it also means they have absolutely no say in the outcome. Okay, now we're making a huge jump. This is a big one. We're leaving the passive zone and moving into the world of the active responders, the people who react. Finally, we're talking about action. These are your classic problem solvers, the firefighters. When things go wrong, they spring into action. Say a huge client is about to walk out the door. This is the person who cancels their weekend, pulls an all-nighter, and saves the day. They're absolutely essential for damage control, but notice their action is always triggered by something else. They're not starting fires, but man, are they good at putting them out. So their whole mindset is based on response. And look, that's incredibly valuable. We need people like that. But it's a defensive game. They're fantastic at playing the cards they're given, but they're not the ones dealing the cards or designing the game. And that, my friends, brings us to the very top of the spectrum, the pinnacle. We're talking about the creators, the initiators, the game changers. These are the people who don't wonder, don't watch, and don't just react. They make things happen. The key difference here is that they are proactive. They have a vision, and they take complete ownership of making it real. They don't just save the client who's about to leave. They're already thinking 2 years ahead, building the next service that client will need before they even know they need it. Where others see a brick wall, they see a puzzle to solve. These are your innovators, your leaders, the people who are literally building the future. So let's put it all together. Here's a quick look at the whole spectrum. You can see that clear path, right? From being totally unprepared to just watching, to fixing problems, and finally to actually shaping what happens next. It all boils down to two things: how you act and how you think. Okay, so let's zoom in on that top tier. What's the secret sauce? What does it really take to be one of those proactive creators, someone who actually shapes their own world? Well, it really boils down to four key ingredients. First, you need a vision. You gotta see what others don't. Then you need the initiative to actually get started. After that comes courage, the guts to move forward even when you're not sure how it'll turn out. And finally, discipline, the grit to stick with it. You put those four together, that's a powerful mix. Okay, so this is all great, but it's not just theory, right? The whole point of knowing this is to use it, to actually move yourself up that ladder. So the big question is, how do you do it? How do you go from being passive to being proactive? It's a 4-step process, really. First is just awareness. You have to be honest with yourself about where you are on this spectrum. Next is responsibility. You have to accept that you're in the driver's seat. Third, learning. You got to get the skills you need. And the most important part, number 4, effort. Taking those small, consistent steps day in and day out.
So let's get real for a second. Ask yourself this and be totally honest. Do you create your own opportunities or do you just wait for them to show up? And when a chance does show up, what's your first move? Do you pounce on it or do you hesitate and watch it slip away? And here's the big one. Are you living your life from the sidelines or are you out there on the field playing the game?
Because at the end of the day, here's what it all comes down to. The thing that separates people who watch life happen from people who make life happen, it's not how smart you are, it's not about talent, it's about one thing: action. It's that simple choice between being passive and being proactive. Every single day, in every little moment, you're faced with that choice. You can wonder what happened, you can watch others do it, you can react to what's thrown at you, or you can be the one who makes things happen. The choice, as always, is yours. So, what's it going to be?